welcome back to this week's update on the 30-gallon mixed reef. I'm going to be overviewing the whole tank. You can see I got all the corals, well most of the corals, onto the rockscape now. Some are still on the frag rack at the back. I'm going to get some close-ups in just a couple minutes. I just want to first talk about the tank, how it's been doing for the past week. We're a week in for the new aquascape. A couple problems are starting to arise, and yeah, so let's get straight into it. So you can see already there is already some brown populating on the aquascape. Very common. There's nothing in there at the moment to consume that. I might have to get a Mexican turbo snail in here. I really don't want to do that because they're really big and they bulldoze all your corals. They just move them around. So I'd have to stick down and putty all the corals down, literally everything, even the stuff on the frag rack it'd all have to be stuck down very securely. Which is annoying because that's going to be a big job, very big job. Some stuff isn't going to want to stick, you know, it's going to take a lot of glue and that, so I'm going to have to do that. Or there's vibrant, but I think that's going to kick off my cyanobacteria again because that was what was feeding it all those times. So yeah, I need something to eat all this algae that's going to be populating on the rocks. This is going to become more and more. I need something to consume it, so I might have to get one, or I don't want to have to get two in here, one at the most really, see how we get on with it. If not, if we have to add in more than we have to, you know, I can't. Algae is going to go absolutely mental without anything eating it, so I'm probably going to have to get one of those. I've had a issue with one other fish. All the fish are fine apart from the peacock wrasse, which is my favourite fish in here, I think. It's the most colourful. I don't even know where he is right now, probably in the sand somewhere. Hasn't eaten since the new scape, nothing, like not eaten whatsoever. I've tried loads of foods, frozen, all the meats, literally loads of different meat foods, spectrum pellets, algae wafers, nothing really. He's not even picking at anything, he's kind of just hovering over the sand. I don't even know where he's gone right now. I don't know what the issue is with him. I really don't know what it is. All the other fish are fine, acting like nothing ever even happened. They're all swimming fine, all eating good. It's just the peacock wrasse is having a bit of a bad reaction to the whatever's gone onto the tank. I've no idea why this is. If anyone has experienced the same thing, please put in the comments because I don't know what this is. I don't even know if he's still alive in there. I don't know where he is. I haven't seen him since yesterday or the day before. Been looking for him, probably in the sand somewhere hiding. Yeah, so I'm a bit concerned. I don't know what to do about that peacock wrasse. Tried all the foods he's really not eating, just refusing to eat. I'm going to give it today. If I don't see him today, I'm going to get through that sand and see if I can get him out. Try and find him in the tank, see if he's alright. And go from there. And yeah, onto the wave pumps I've repositioned. You can see this one's angled in towards the front, so the front side of the tank is getting all the flow and it kind of brushes down, wraps around the back. This one's facing kind of straight and then up a bit, so you get a little bit of that surface vegetation. Also more flow on this side of the tank as well, so a good mixture of flow. The frag rack I moved up a bit. It was a bit lower and it was shading a little bit of the rockscape. I want to get it as high as I can so it doesn't shade anything, and I don't want it to be too visible because it's not the nicest thing in there. And if I lower the camera, you can see that the green star polyps coral at the back, I trimmed down. This side isn't that happy for some reason. I think there's a bit of algae on it. Well, not algae, there's a brown film of whatever on it. I'm going to have to blow off that. I'll do that after I've done this video. But I trimmed it down, get it down a little bit. It was growing a little bit too low down than what I'd like it. And now it's higher up, now it's not as thick. I can have that frag rack up a little bit higher. So I've just got to wait for it to grow out the sides here and here. And it will look really good. So I think it's time we get a close-up of all the corals, so I'll show you what I've placed where. Starting with this side, we have the Duncan Coral. I kind of glued it onto the corner here. If it gets too big, too close to the glass, I can always just, because it's only glue, it just breaks off easy, and I can trim it down or move it to another area, but for now it is a pretty slow grower. Well, at the moment it hasn't really grown. It has grown, but it's very, very slowly. But it is doing alright. Polyps are out, it's happy, it's getting a good amount of flow, good amount of light, so this is probably the happiest coral in here at the moment. So that one's glued. This purple plate is just placed on that edge there for the time being. It's getting probably could use a bit more flow. Light's not too bad, it's alright. Blue digi you can't really see, Polyps on now, colour is quite down on it at the moment, but I've glued that, I literally just glued that a few minutes ago in that little hole there. I think that'll grow out, hopefully not too close to the Duncan Coral. Possilopora, very nice coral. Not at the moment, colour's kind of gone down on everything at the moment, but it's kind of got like a green and a pink colour. Bit of cyano on the frag plug of it, but that's kind of put there. That's not glued, that's just placed. I might keep that there, it's a pretty good spot, so that might be staying there. The digi, red digi, might be staying there as well. That's kind of just bridged over, balanced between the two. It's staying there pretty nice, bit of cyano on it. There's an elcorn that's fallen. It was in that little hole there, right in the middle of the screen, but it fell down, but it's kind of balanced there, so I don't want to disturb it, so I'm just going to leave it there. It's doing pretty well anyway. It's getting enough flow and light. Up here we've got all of our acros, well, a good handful of them. That one's glued up there. The one at the back is glued. This one here is just placed there because I don't know where I'm having that just yet. If we move to the middle of the tank, we have a green millipora. We have two Monty plates in the middle. The green milli's glued, but the plates are just balanced in the middle there. Pink Hystrix is glued, pretty good spot. Hopefully it doesn't get too close to the glass. We've still got about 2 or 3 inches from it, but it is a fast grower, so you know we couldn't always frag it back. Since it's only an SBS coral, it's very easy to frag. Hammer coral is just balanced there. It's not getting too much flow, which is good. Doesn't like too much flow. Getting a good amount of light. It's pretty happy at the moment, so that's all good. Forest Fire Digi's at the back there. Pretty good spot for it. I think I might keep it there. That acro's glued at the back. That's probably a really good spot for that. Really good bunch of it in the corner. I think that'll grow out pretty nice. Really good amount of light. It's probably getting quite a lot of light there, which is, it's an acropora, so it is going to want that. And it's getting a decent amount of flow. This one here is also getting good light, good flow. I don't even know what this is called, this coral, but it is quite a nice one once it colours up. This is a green hirsuta. Just kind of placed it, or the peppermint shrimp has kind of made a home underneath it, so I'm just going to leave it there for now. Seems like the peppermint shrimp quite likes it, and it's a pretty good spot anyway for it. Quite like it there. Acan is there, kind of a little bit distance from the zoas. There's a bit of pole square I've just seen. That is a no-no. Gonna have to get rid of that when I can. Yeah, zoas are just not glued, just kind of leaned up against this rock here. Hopefully when they take a foot in, I'll re-add in my conch snail, which is in my dad's tank. I moved it into his tank because it kept on moving these zoas. I just want to leave these alone, get them settled onto the rock, and then I'll add him back into the tank when he's ready. Close up of the GSP, you see it's growing pretty well. Bit of brown around the edges, especially on this side. I think that's why it's closed up. A bit of polyps are stripped off as well. I might just trim that back actually. I might do that. I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with it yet. But most of it's pretty happy. It's getting a decent amount of light. Well, a lot of light. It's getting about 500 par at least. And flow, it's getting enough flow. It's getting a pretty good amount of flow. A lot of red fluffy stuff on the wave box and the wave pumps and the skimmer. Lots of bits of algae, but very common. I'm going to have to get a snail in here to clean all that up. So you can see all the fish are happy, look, all swimming as normal. Most of them hang underneath this area because that's where the feeding area is, where that pipe is, that's where the food comes out of. So most of them kind of, this algae blenny kind of just sits and waits there for the food. I just fed about half an hour ago, so they shouldn't be that hungry. Clowns are still in the corner, hosting the cleaner magnet, as usual. Female clown has taken a quite interest in the Duncan Coral, so maybe she might host that in the future. There's a frag that's fallen at the back there. That's a green Hystrix coral that I'm going to have to place. It's getting enough light and flow for now until I glue everything in over the next couple of days. Yeah, I should put that back on the frag rack, ideally. The skimmer's got a bit loud. It's collecting alright, it's not going mad, it's skimming as usual. It's just it's got a bit loud. I did do a water change yesterday actually. 60% water change to reduce my phosphates and nitrates, which have shot up to phosphates at 0.1, not 0.1, 0.1, so pretty high, and the nitrates at 10, so they are quite elevated, but I did expect that. So the skimmer's gone a little bit loud. I'm not exactly sure why that is. I think it might be because the organics, because I just did a water change, the organics in the tank have reduced, so it hasn't got as much to take out, so maybe it's gone a bit loud. I think that's the only reason I can explain it with, really. The internal filter is the sponge I'm changing now every 3 to 4 days instead of every week, because it does get dirty pretty quick. You can only just see. That was about 2 days ago I changed that out. Actually no, it was yesterday I changed that out during the water change. So it does get dirty pretty quickly. The flow has changed. Actually no, it hasn't. The flow's gone back to ramping up and down on full power. Temperature still stayed the same as it always has throughout the whole tank. 25.5, it fluctuates between 0.5 and 0.8, which is a very small range, which is good. Skimmers, you can see what level it's at. It's about 30%, kind of. There we go. It's not even half power, and it's pretty loud. It's not the pump. It's got this echoey, weird sound to it. It's hard to explain, but it is quite annoying. Because of the flow, the sand has moved back. There's a little bit of an island in the middle here, a bit of rock there. Should ideally get rid of that, but there's nothing I can do about that, really. The flow is probably is one of the hardest things to get right in a tank. So it's going to move the sand sometimes. Sometimes you can have some patches where it's going to be a bit bare. You can see the glass, but I'm not that bothered by it, really. There's nothing I could do about it, really. I have the wave pumps in like every other position, and there's no way of having it where it doesn't move the sand, so there's no way of avoiding it. I don't really mind it that much. It doesn't look too bad. Algae and coralline will grow on that bit anyway, so you won't, it won't be as noticeable as it is at the moment. So I think that'll do it for this week's update. Got all the corals down, showed you around the whole tank and plans. I will try and get a Mexican turbo snail in here. I'm going to try one, see how it gets on. If I have to add in 2, I will. I'm going to stick all down my corals, which will be for next week's upload. I'm going to clean up the tank a bit, brush off any algae that I can, sort out that area GSP. Keep doing loads of maintenance. If I have to do another water change next week, I will. That's only if the nutrients creep up a bit. I want to keep the phosphates below 0.5 and the nitrates below 0.5 if I can. Well, nitrates aren't too 10 is alright. That's the most I want them at, really. As long as they stay below 10, I'm pretty happy. It's just the phosphates mainly, which is going to creep up that hair algae, which is very difficult to get rid of. So if I keep that below 0.5, we should be able to stay away from hair algae, because I did deal with that throughout the whole year of the other scape. Hair algae from day 1, and I never seemed to get rid of it. Snails, nothing vibrant, nothing. Tried brushing it off, nothing. It's just the phosphates are far too high. So if I keep them down this time, hopefully, fingers crossed, we can keep it out of the tank. So I know this video was a bit long, quite a lot to get through. Try and get it a bit shorter next week. So I will see you guys in a week's time, next weekend, with another update. So I'll see you then. Bye.